Welcome back. What I have today is actually a conversation that I recorded months ago that I didn't release. Again, what was I doing? What was I thinking? I don't know what I was thinking. But so I had the opportunity to meet Lorraine Sommerfeld. Lorraine is amazing. You may know her writing. She writes for the Hamilton Spectator, she writes for driving.ca, and she's amazing. I love her. She's great. And, so she moderated a panel I was on back in the spring, many months ago. And so it's ironic, I think, that, even then we were deep in the throes of tariffs and not knowing what was going on, and here we are again several months later in the throes of tariffs and not knowing what's going on. So let's listen to that conversation. Also, today's podcast is sponsored by Autograph Analytics. So, thank you to the folk at Autograph Analytics for sponsoring both this podcast recording and my newsletter, thechangeoptimist.com. Lorraine Sommerfeld, how are you? Where am I finding you? Where are you normally?
I am in Burlington, Ontario, and I never leave my house, so I'm always here.
That's not true. I saw you like a week and a half ago. That's not true. And was that like your avatar? That was like your
That was my annual heading out for an adventure thing. I know who I'm at. I met you on stage. It's like, "Here's the wild card." Okay. This
me? I
rally
was wild
point.
card?
Yeah, you were my wild card last week. I didn't know what you were gonna do.
I mean, I didn't know what I was gonna do, so that's fair.
That's
That's
right.
it was a good panel. I enjoyed it. I know how hard it is to herd the cats on stage like that, and you did a wonderful job. You did a real
I
fantastic job.
appreciate that. It was fun. It was
Yeah,
really fun.
and, they that was a tight event. The AIA, like, I'm very impressed by how well they put that together, and even Trevor and Bill were fantastic as well. I'd never met either of them before, and they were really, really great. So,
I was grateful because they just tell me who my guests are gonna be, and I speak to each one of you ahead of time as I talk to you, and then I get there, and I know you don't know each other, and you're all from different perspectives, and so the herding cats thing is absolutely right. Good thing I'm an old cat lady, but yeah, no, getting the best out of all of you, and I said to Emily, I go, "Matthew's gonna be the wild card."
well, I'm also the wild card because 'cause I'm not really in the aftercare
Yeah,
space, right? Like, that's not my world normally, and every time they've invited me to something that we have that little dance where I'm like, uh, mostly I try and help dealers and yell at OEMs. Like,
yeah,
that's what I do. That's my game.
yeah,
Um I've done some poking around, like, I we were talking before I hit record, I've started to read your novel, but I haven't finished. I think it's on the promo site for your novel, it says the most fantastic thing that I laughed at. I think I'm still laughing about it in my head, that, you've been a journalist or a writer for, 20 odd years, and before that, you were fired from a lot of jobs. That
yeah,
was
that's the honest truth.
it's
I didn't start
fantastic.
writing till I was 40 because I had just messed up everything else, so
So so what were you doing for the first 40 years that you got fired from so many times?
I made the mistake that a lot of young women do. I met a dude in university and married him, which was just a mistake.
That was your first mistake, yes.
But we started a business while we were in school, and so I ran motocross and supercross teams
Oh.
for 15 years, I think, and we had a trinkets and trash business, premiums, promotions, working with Procter& and Gamble and Molson's and all this stuff. So I had this whole other life that most people have no idea that I did because I've gleefully left it behind. So the thing is when you have a business partnership with the person you're in a relationship with and then you break up, guess what? You lose your job. And when you run your own corporation since you were 18, you're overqualified and unloved. Like nobody wants you. And I have an English degree. Useful, very useful. So I was answering the phones at a carpet cleaning place. I got fired. My sister made my brother-in-law hire me at their HVAC place. I quit before I got fired. That was close, and that was family, and we still talk. So I have had but I had 2 kids to raise on my own, so I cleaned houses when I was in school, I've done everything.
That's amazing. I mean, um, I also have an English degree, right? I also the only formal education theoretically that I have is in English literature. Um, and I, for the longest time didn't finish. I actually went back and finished during COVID. And the I found in this is similar to you, but different in that I found this piece of paper in my mother's basement when we were cleaning it out after she passed away, and I still have it here. It's actually I've been meaning to frame it because it was sort of a weird high school aptitude or, like, vocational assessment, I think is the
Okay.
words they used, and it says on it, that I should be a radio broadcaster,
That's wild.
a college professor,
Yeah,
and a marketing executive,
and here you are.
and I'm and so and I pulled it we pulled it out of this, banker's box of files and papers and bullshit that I had, and I looked at it, and this was now almost a decade ago, but even then, I had just been hired at Google. I'd been hired as an account executive at Google selling ads, having done a fair amount of marketing work, and I was like, "What the actual fuck? Like, why didn't I listen to this? Why did I
Like,
meander?"
you were the person they got it right for, you were the one.
I was the one, and I didn't listen. I didn't listen at all, and it took, like, another 20 odd years for me to go, "Oh, yeah, okay. I probably should have paid attention to that."
Well, talking about stuff in the basement, I've got a bunch of stuff, and I kept some of my old essays from high school because my English teacher I started high school when I was 12, and one of the essays she wrote in it, she goes, "You're a writer. I don't know when, I don't know how," she said, "but you are a writer, and this is amazing." And I'm like this little kid. She's still one of my closest friends. She's like my kid's grandma. She's here, like, for Sunday dinners all the time. But I kept that stuff, and I'm 61 years old. I've kept it for a long time because she was the one who told me when I was really young, and it took me till I was 40 to get back around to, that I'd never published anything. And the local paper's looking for a mommy columnist like granola. I am not granola. I'm a terrible mother. And I'm going, "Yeah, I can do this." Got them to agree with me. Of course, you don't make any money at it, but, then I became a writer. It's like, okay, so when people go, "Oh, I think it's too late to do something," I'm like, "Oh, honey, it's never too late." Never.
And so how long has Motherlode been, um, in existence now? How long has that been going?
21 years. Yeah, it's supposed to be 6 weeks. They gave me a 6-week trial, and I had to get internet to do it. I didn't even have a computer, like, I went down there with some paper and a file folder and handed it to them, and they read it in front of me. "You're a writer. You know how deadly that is when someone reads especially if it's supposed to be funny, because humor is hard, you know that." But, yeah, no, I got internet, ran around to my neighbors going, "Ooh, I think I'm writing a column for 6 weeks." And, yeah, and that's where the auto stuff came from a year later. The auto section said, "We want you to write in the auto section." I go, "No." It's like, "I hate cars. I hate this." And they go, "We'll pay you more." I go, "Oh, okay." And I said, "I'm not going to auto shows. I hate them." I said, I'm not doing mechanical stuff." I said, "But can I write whatever I want?" They said, "Yes." So one of the first things I wrote was how my dad picked up a hitchhiker when I was a little kid. We're at the cottage, and I'm in the car with him, we're going to town, and I'm 7 or 8, picks up a hitchhiker. It's like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Jesus is in the back seat of our station wagon because this is in the '70s, dude with a big beard and everything, right? And my dad's talking to him, and I'm freaked out, like, I cannot believe my father is picking up a stranger, and we drop him out somewhere, dad looks at me, he goes, "Don't tell your mother." I go, "Okay." And that was the beginning of "Don't tell your mother" and "Don't tell your father," and I built an auto career on those stories, I swear, you know? Mom used to drive by the local here on the beach strip, there was a motorcycle gang had their house with the chain link fence and the dogs. My mom would slow down so we could look, it was awesome.
I mean, hitchhiking is a weird I mean, it was always weird, but it's like a weird lost art, doesn't exist, and when you see someone hitchhiking, you're kind of like, they're either they're down in their luck, like, you could tell, like, this person is in a bad place, or they're a serial killer. Like, this
Well,
is like your brain very quickly goes to, if someone is hitchhiking, the only 2 scenarios that make sense right now are they are either going to kill me or they've lost their driver's license, probably in a DUI, like, probably in a
but who picks them up? It's you're the serial killer or they're the serial killer? Like,
right?
I rejudge
Yeah.
crime, obviously, but yeah.
Well, and I was, in my 20s, I tried to bring hitchhiking back, like, I think it had pretty much died, but I was like, and I grew up in a small town, so um, and you're right, it's the only people who would pick me up were occasionally, serendipitously, it would be someone I knew. Like, I would be in the middle of nowhere, I'd be, like, standing out on the highway in Orangeville, and somebody I knew from my hometown would drive by and pick me up. Like, "Hey, Matthew." Or the other 2 categories of people, and they both center around this kind of space of they are not afraid of you, right? One is usually other people who had hitchhiked, like older men who had hitchhiked when they were younger, who were like, I remember being in your situation, so I will pick you up.
Yeah.
And the other were usually more folk, like let's affectionately refer to them as like, priests and pastors. They were trying to convert you. They were like, you're in a bad way, clearly let me deliver my message to you, let me
Now
talk.
you're locked in my car.
You're locked in my car, we're gonna talk for the next, 3 hours on our way to Thunder Bay or something. So, yeah, the either way, the whatever the headspace of the person picking up the person who was hitchhiking was, "I am not afraid of you."
Yeah,
So,
it's int well, girls can't hitchhike. My
they do.
boyfriend hitchhiked forever back and forth to Montreal, and he said the fastest he ever did it was 4 hours. The guy was driving like 100 miles an hour, but he's got stories forever, and it's really cool. But girls, no. I have I had 3 sisters. We were warned, "You do not hitchhike." It's like, "Okay," but my father also made sure we knew how to drive a manual transmission car so we didn't get stuck with the idiot we were dating. I'm quoting him now, he's been gone 30 years, but yeah.
But the voice is still in your head, right? Like,
Oh, yeah. You're not gonna be stranded because of some idiot that you're dating. It's like, "Okay, dad." Like, yeah,
my son hasn't learned how to he's got his G1. We've been doing some driving, but, manual, we haven't quite gotten to. In fact, we had to have a conversation about what a manual transmission was, right?
like,
Because he's like,
describe
"I've been
YouTube
driving
videos.
manuals." Yeah, they don't exist, they're hard to find, right? Like,
I have one in my driveway.
I mean, I'm not in your driveway,
I
I
know, it's true,
but
yeah. That's what I used to use press cars for. I taught every kid we knew how to drive a stick when I had a press car, better it wrecks their clutch than mine, so oops, I just told the industry my secret. Okay.
well, and so talk to me about the experience writing about cars, because your angle, your is I mean, I feel like you and I, are almost 2 sides of the same coin, and that we talk a lot about the consumer experience. Like, you
Yes.
talk a lot about um so I wanna know a little bit about your writing, but I also wanna just ask the question, why is the experience so shitty still? Like,
Oh,
why?
I think because the OEMs and dealers still refuse to admit it's shitty. And I can show them my inbox. It's like I've been doing car stuff for 20 years, and people come to me. I had a call-in at Lemonade Car Show that the APA used to do, and I helmed that for 7 years, live call-in. The calls from women went through the roof because they thought they could ask me stuff. I admit what I don't know, and I'm right for a section. I'm on my 3rd national paper. I've run out of papers now. I have to stay here. Um, I'm surrounded by amazing people. I don't have to do car reviews and pretend I know what I'm talking about. I don't even have to pretend I care about that shit because I don't. And I used to do 1 car review a year. They'd make me. It's like, oh, and it was like shitting thistles. That's what I used to describe it as because I hate doing it. But the consumer side of things, I know how people feel. People tell me how they feel. I know what it's like to go into a dealership and be looked at as if I'm a moron, and they talk to my husband or my father, or a guy, bring a guy with you. You open up the hood of a car now, it's like Tupperware. It's a big steel piece of plastic. Why are we even kidding ourselves that anyone knows shit about this? So, yeah, the consumers, I care about that because it's a lot of money. A lot of people don't know how to spend it. They don't do it very often, and a lot of them are very not happy afterwards. And man, it should be as much fun as buying boots. Okay, nothing's as much fun as buying boots, but it shouldn't be hell. And so I've spent 20 years trying to I can't change the dealers and the OEMs, but I can certainly educate consumers and give them questions and make them feel a little more confident. So I come at it like that.
In the male-female it's horrible, I think,
So true.
yeah, it's horrible for everyone, but
Yeah,
the male-female dichotomy is even worse, like, it's just so much worse, it's crazy because it's like, it is 2025, right? Like, this why why does it have to be like this? And I've beat up OEM after OEM, and I've yelled at dealers on stage,
yeah,
and I've told them to suck less,
yeah,
and some have listened to a degree. Like, some, I think, have listened, but yeah, when when I hear those phrases, when I hear and, you see it in some of the other automotive news circles when dealers reference this notion of it being a people business.
yeah,
I'm like, "Which people? Like,
yeah.
which people are you structuring your business for?" Because the average person does not have this perspective. Like, on the other side of this transaction, they are not happy with you.
And what I find helps a lot is I know dealers have to make money. I know the margins have shrunk considerably, especially depending on your brand, like it's changed. But when I talk to normal people, I go, "This is what they're up against, and this is what they're doing." And once you strip away some of the mystery, it's like that little tight airless office where they beat the shit out of you to get you to sign up for more stuff. I go, "No, this is how much they make on the loan. This is why they're making you take it. This is how much rust proofing costs. Don't go there, go to Crown. They don't pay me." All the stuff, when I demystify it for them, then they can go in and go, "I'm gonna tell you now, I don't want the extended warranty," or, "I have some questions about the extended warranty." That's fine. So I say to people, everyone's entitled to make a fair living. You're entitled to make fair profit for good work. I you know, I believe that, but I think it's what consumers can't stand is the lying and the crap and the like, not telling the truth about anything. It's like, okay, if we just you walk into any other store on the planet, there's the thing. You've read about it. There's the thing. You walk into a dealership and they go, "Let the games begin." Nobody wants to play that game. Nobody. Everyone loves Saturn so much. About 30 years ago when Saturn came on, because the price was the price and someone got paid so much per hour to stand there and sell it to you. Women loved that whole idea. They loved the concept. Now you walk in and it's like, okay, all these little hands are coming and tearing all my clothes off and laughing at me. It's like just the worst experience in the world. And I hate that because there's some great dealers. There's a good salesperson, they got repeat business, they got all my family, all my friends, everybody. My local Hyundai guy, he loves me because he doesn't rip anyone off.
I I put together a presentation a few years ago. I still think it's clever, where I compared, um, selling a car. I said that selling cars was a lot like selling toasters, but then I did a point by point breakdown of how they are nearly identical and where they diverge. And one of the big points I made in the deck was, no one is trying to sell me insurance for my toaster. Like, it's like there's no one is trying to. There are, maybe Best Buy is, maybe Best Buy because they try and get you at checkout. But, for the most part, when I buy my toaster, it's and the corollary, like the overlap in the experience is actually kind of funny because you can buy a toaster online, but you probably won't. Like, you probably wanna see it before you put it in your kitchen,
Yeah,
and so there's a lot of weird similarities between toasters and cars, and so it, it was good kind of, it was real world clickbait was what it was because it got people paying attention, and then once I started laying out the argument, people were like, "Huh, this is actually weird how close, like, some of the data, the experience, the way people think about it, the way that people will research online and then go into, like, the Bay, rest in peace, Hudson Bay, but, like, go into the Bay or go into, wherever toasters are sold and buy it in person instead." So,
yeah. No,
I
I don't know when car buying it's adversarial and, it doesn't have to be. and everyone loses. Like, if I sell something, I want guaranteed sales to this person for the rest of their life. I want everyone they know. It's the very best way to find a salesperson that you feel comfortable with is someone that is recommended to you. So the good ones are absolutely banking on that. Like they know. So why? I mean, the turnover is high. I know why. They churn. It's not just, but I hate that it costs so much money and you always leave with so many questions and you always feel beat up. And that's crazy. When you buy a house, you don't walk around going, "Oh my god, this is terrible. I hate it." Like, you should be happy. You got a new car. Yay. Instead. So,
Well,
yeah,
and that is the problem, like, somehow, and especially when you compare those kind of 2 transactions, right? Like, even though you know when you bought a house, you're signing away your life and you're giving 25 years worth of salary to some financial institution, um, but you feel good about it. Like, you're like, "I just bought a new house," and you're proud of it, and you wanna tell people about it, and you're excited about what that means, and yet somehow the industry has managed to suck all of the fun out of buying a car to the point where when you are done, you don't feel good about it. You feel like there's a good chance somehow you got screwed.
that's that's the problem. It's like dealing with Trump. He only wins if you lose. And I feel a lot of people come out of a car buying situation feeling that they lost because the other guy won. Like, it shouldn't be so adversarial. It's the only word. And again, not all dealers. I'm not saying that about all of them,
Right.
but I
Yes.
do know what my readers tell me and what viewers used to tell me, and it's not a happy situation. It's stressful, and
I just
especially when they get you in that room. But I figure we pull all this apart, and sometimes I remember a friend of mine was buying a car, and he goes, "Will you go with me?" It's about 10 years ago. I said, "Yeah, no problem." He goes, "I already found one. It's great." Just, I walked in, no word of a lie. The salesperson looked at me and went, "Oh, shit."
amazing. That is
It was.
amazing.
And I went, "What are you doing that you wouldn't do if I wasn't here? Be
Right.
straight. Just be straight," you know? That's all. It was kinda fun.
Maybe, there are people who just do that for a living. Like, if you did wanna leave the house more often, you could
Right.
probably just sell car or, like, help people buy cars for a
Well, I
small
always
fee.
said if my career blew up, which, I ride it pretty close to the line sometimes. I thought, "Okay, I'll go sell cars for 1 year and then write a book like that guy did at, one of the online car places." He did it for a year and just reported on and it was brilliant. And it must have been at Gawker or somewhere that got fired. I don't know. But I thought, "Okay, I could sell cars for 1 year," but then I know I couldn't. I tell the truth to people, and so I thought, "No, I'd rather be on this side and just tell them, this is why they're offering you these things. These things are of value. These you might find of value. This is a crock and a ripoff, and, don't do it." And I've got enough people that I talk to that I quote in my columns who will tell me this stuff, like, on the other side, which is awesome because, why is it so bad for your customer to understand the process and the purchase? Why is that a negative? They like people that don't get it.
I mean, because you can capitalize on ignorance, right?
It's gross.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. Call me naive, but I don't like it. So,
And you're right. It is not everyone, but they're still out there. And what I do, because we used to at Google, there was actually we had a data point, but it was from, they hadn't asked this question in any of the more recent research. So the last time they asked it was like 2019. And the and I'm actually in the middle of running some research right now to validate whether or not this is still true. But one of the questions, was like basically how did you feel about your car buying experience? And and the more than half of people walking out were frustrated after they bought. Like, they bought and then were frustrated. And so I haven't had a data point to qualify or back that up for a number of years, and so what I just do is I go to Google and I search the phrase "frustrated at dealership Canada," and then I hit the news tab and I see the news articles that have
there it
come
is.
up because there's almost one every month. Like, every month there's like this happened at blah blah Siri dealership. This happened at Toronto dealership, and it's easy to find there. And that's like the cockroach in the walls. If there's one news article about it, there's probably 1,000 customers who are having this experience. So,
I get a lot of, like, "Help, will you help me? This is what happened, blah, blah, blah," and I read it, I go, "You gotta call Pat Foran or Sean O'Shea." "Hi, Pat. Hi, Sean." I go, "They have an army behind them and resources. I'm a freelancer. I can't spend hours and hours and hours chasing down your very specific problem because then more people, like cockroaches, will come out and ask me to help them." So I'm stuck. So I try and generally give good information that people can pick from, but I see a lot of people taken advantage of, and it makes me crazy. And I know, yeah, I'll hire myself out there and help you buy a car, except I'll go, "Oh, no, I don't think you can afford my fee, so I'll just do it for you for free." I'm a mother at heart. I mother the whole world, and it's a real problem for my bank account.
yeah, you're gonna have to be very comfortable with taking a fee, and maybe you should also have charged your children, or at least now you could start charging them. There could be some sort of fee exchange. You could let's
Kids are the gift that keeps on taking, you know that. Like, my kids are 30 and 33 years old, like, still, it never ends.
you invoked the name, and so let's go at it. Let's talk about this. You brought up the Trump factor, and we were actually supposed to record this last week, but, because of because of the newly announced automotive parts and vehicle tariffs, you got busy. I'm sure you're still busy. Um, what the actual fuck? That's my
I
question. Yeah.
I think what he did last week was honestly calling squirrel on that signal gate thing. Like, I really think he went, "Oh, let's talk about tariffs." That gets them all charged up. They're trying to change the channel. I hope no one lets them change the channel. That I can you imagine being in that military and knowing that's how they handle your life? Ah,
It's absurd.
anyway, um,
Yeah, it's crazy.
it is absolutely insane. The whole tariff thing, I did CBC last week, like, 5 hours in a row. You do it every 10 minutes. You've probably done it across the country, and they're going, "What do we," "What's the threat?" I go, "Okay, he kicked them off for 30 days." I go, "It's a stay of execution." What do? You call your mom a few extra times and eat a few more Big Mac meals? A stay of execution is not a good thing. But he found the power in there. So the chaos is the point, the instability is the feature. It's like, people, stop dancing on the end of the chain because madman, he's an absolute madman, and everyone's using reason and history and economics. This dude goes by his feelings. These are not 2 things in the same room. So, I've dealt with broken people before, and so finally, in the automotive industry, I finally have an edge on everyone because 'cause I've dealt with psychos. This guy's a psycho. It's got nothing to do with cars, nothing to do with business, nothing to do with any of that. This is just a crazy person, and I specialize in crazy, so that's pretty good.
Specialize. See that you need to add that to the website right
Oh,
under
it's
that.
hard, yeah. Specialize in crazy.
Specialize in crazy.
My other readers know it already, but
Yeah, it is wild, right? Because the justification, like, there who is digging up these laws that he is using for justification for these executive orders and proclamations? It's crazy because it's like a 1978 piece of legislation that he's like, "Yeah, this is a clearly buying cars from Canada and Mexico is a national security threat. We've been doing it for decades, but suddenly it's a problem."
he's
So,
using a law that Paul Revere wrote over from 1743 or something. I just screwed up my American history, I'm sure I did. No, that's what I mean. This is not reasonable. We have to stop addressing it as if we're speaking to someone who's reasonable. The whole point is that it's not based in anything, and I think it was Bannon that said, "You just fire out tons and tons of crap and no one knows where to look anymore." Mission accomplished. I don't know where to look anymore, do you? It's nuts.
flood
But
flood
yep,
the zone was the
but that's
strategy.
what they're doing, and so we have to stop picking a statement of his and going, "Well, this doesn't make any sense." It's not supposed to fucking make sense, people. It's supposed to baffle you, and it's noise. It's noise, just noise. So but with very real world consequences, obviously. He's going to mess with the entire global economy. So we all have to do what we're doing, which is smarten up, wake up, move ahead. Stop looking back and go, "Oh, but he was good to me once." No, no. Sorry, America. See ya.
I mean, this is the problem, right? Like it's and I said this on the panel, right? It's the Ezra Klein. Ezra Klein did that great video where he basically said, "Don't believe him. Like, don't believe what is being said, what he is saying."
Mhm.
And so it's hard to know, like, and he's a bit of a master of weaving a lie into a truth. And so you're like, what part is true and what part is just insanity?
Yes.
Um, and then, so markets tumble. And so he says he doesn't look at the markets. The markets do well. He's like, I did
I
that.
did that.
Right. Like it's hard to know. And at the same time, you now have hundreds of thousands of manufacturing jobs at risk in 3 countries at least, like not even bringing in China and Europe into the equation yet.
Yeah.
It's 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 kind of wild. And so people have to figure out how to respond because, there are real business issues people are trying to solve. And there's real cars that are getting built and real people have these jobs and it's shitty. Like it's shitty for people. And I don't envy, although I make fun of the OEMs on a regular basis, I don't envy them right now because this is not a good place for Stellantis, GM, and Ford to be.
Someone said to me a couple weeks ago, I go, "Well, the same way all the tech bros are just giving him millions of dollars, like showing up and kissing his butt." They go, "We presume the big 3 will be doing the same thing." And I go, "Listen to yourself. You've normalized bribing the president, which is insanity, except now the big law firms are doing it." I I keep throwing around the word unprecedented. I keep saying in my history of whatever. No, I got nothing. I got nothing for this. This is the fact people are normalizing it. That also is part of the plan. If that man trips over a truth, it's like a blind squirrel finding a nut. It is not because he knows the truth. It's because he inadvertently stumbled over it and he looks at the response from the audience. He's like the stand up. You respond off the audience energy and go the way they're laughing. And he just only he subs in horror instead of humor. And that's the response that he likes. But what you said is the most important thing. These are real people, and I look at even people don't understand, their pensions probably have Tesla stock in them. So this matters to more than just me hating Elon Musk. I've always hated him, my whole section's always hated him, but these are real people, and I was reading about the Australian, auto industry that went poof, like, disappeared. So I read about it 6 weeks ago. I'm reading, "Oh, this is interesting." And everyone goes, "Yeah, but it's totally different scenario." I go, "Yeah, you're right." Now I'm looking at it again going,
Hmm.
"Wow, you know, it's good to know your history." It's
And there have been some good pieces around the what ifs, right?
yeah,
Like what if what's your read on the what if having looked at the history? If the tariffs stay and if he's real, if this is real and he puts, you know, in particular Stellantis, GM, and Ford into a place where they don't have much of a choice but to repatriate production,
yeah.
um, how do you think it plays out?
I have 2 thoughts on that. The first one is imagining a great manufacturing age gonna be reborn in the US,
Yeah, no.
where there used to be 400 people on the line, now it's robots and 3 people overseeing the robots. I mean, people are crazy if they believe there'll be a renaissance in that, they're nuts. The other thing is if he kills the auto industry, any countries he kills it in or that this kills it in, hello, China. Like, I'm choosing between, is it Russia paying him or China? I'm not sure because everything he does makes one of them the happiest ever, and he's got to be on their payroll because he couldn't make decisions more in line with what one of those 2 countries wants than he is, except tariffing China, but, whatever. China will just be I mean, for the auto industry, we all know it's China. It's gonna be EVs, it's gonna be China. It's like we went to the back of the book and read the last page. Don't do that with my book, it'll wreck it. But we know. We already know. It's, choose your own ending, but that's the ending. How we get from here to there, I don't know, but that's where we're going.
Yeah, that is where we're going. Like, that's the only logical the only logical place is that if we're intent, we'll see how long Toyota and Honda can hold out.
Yeah.
That maybe they can, maybe that's fine. For GM and Stellantis. I mean, I flash back and I was having this conversation with my wife, just a few days ago. In pre-COVID 2019, manufacturing looked pretty bleak in Canada. Like there was like they were in the process of shutting down Oshawa, right? And it didn't look good for Oakville. And so both Ford and GM I'm sure there were conversations around like, maybe we don't need to do this anymore." And, and same with Stellantis, with all of the things that have been going on with Stellantis over the last few years. So, we had a stay of execution on manufacturing, a lot of it buoyed by government subsidy, and a lot of it buoyed by the notion that we were going full bore to EV, and that's getting slowed down. So, in the combination of that slowing down a bit and them not wanting to be here or being pressured to not be here, it's not a far reach to think that those plants become either available, like, or, that a Chinese manufacturer could come in and buy them, for some sort of discount probably. That's only if the country still wants to support auto manufacturing at that level, right? Because the other thing that people say is that if we were to invite China in, we'd need to put some guardrails around that. Like, we would need to put
Oh, hell
some.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine everywhere you drive, all the infrastructure being mapped and handed back to China? Every single part of our country, all the roadways, because the cars, just like our phones, everything going back there. So it's absolutely security risks. There's problems. My questions right now, I'm trying to get some answers this week. I haven't heard back from someone yet. Is those battery plants that we've put billions into or have proposed putting billions into, and the one in Quebec that they got what 300 million into it, and then the parent company
Oh,
Noro,
Northvolt.
yeah, belly up, and Quebec went, "Ah, what?" So right now, I'm kinda, post assembly line, and I'm looking at those battery plants going, okay, because that was set up to be a global supply, because we have such great mining things, and we can talk about Ring of Fire if you want. Oh, I get stroppy about that. But anyway, I'm kinda looking past Toyota and Honda have pledged they're staying. It's like, good, that would be great. We have, great relationship there. I don't think Ford needs a three-row EV. Ford, sorry, no. But anyway, the battery plants, that to me is a global thing, and if Canada is now intent on repositioning itself as a global supplier of big deal things, and we have access to the raw materials here, okay. Is that where our future is when it comes to the automotive industry, is in those battery plants more than on those assembly lines? And I'm talking out of my butt right now. I do not know. I'm asking the questions.
I mean, I agree. I think that's definitely part of the equation. The other the other part, though, the other part that's interesting, I think, that, um, everyone's kind of looked at and said, "That's fun, that's nice, how amusing," is Magna, right? That Magna has had a they've been kicking around weird, small electric vehicles for a while now, and they could build a skateboard. Like, they could build an EV skateboard, and if we already have battery manufacturing here, that the leap for them is not too far afield. So the one way that so one of the funny things with the whole Chinese software equation, right now is Waymo.
Yep.
That Waymo has its latest vehicle, right? They've used Jaguars, they've used Lexus, and now they have a MPV from Zeekr. And what they committed, or what they've done, the way they've been able to get that into the States is it shows up with no software. Like, it basically is it's just a piece of hardware. There's no
Mhm.
there's so the Waymo folk put their own sensors and software in the vehicle. So, and then it's all, in that case, US patriated data. But if this is and I had this conversation a while ago, um, with some folk, and I said, the the way we would need to avoid, or the way one of those guardrails we would need to put in place, and at the at the time, I was talking North American, but for Canadians' sake, would be, yes, you can manufacture here. Yes, we will supply, natural resources, battery manufacturing here, with parts here, but, also software. Like, software has to be from
Mhm.
Canada, has to be from North America, and, in our case, we would still, you know, probably Android, probably BlackBerry, right? Like, so it's funny how BlackBerry has not yet died, but, we just don't use their phones anymore. They're
Yeah.
still yeah. But it's strange days, right? This is if you had asked me even a few years ago, like, would we be talking so much about tariffs and robots, or would I be talking so much about tariffs
Mhm.
and robots? I would have said no. I would, what are you talking about? That's crazy talking. No, I don't give a shit about those
Yeah.
things. But I made the same argument this week in my newsletter that the even again, under the assumption that the current auto tariffs hold, who does Donald Trump and the administration, I like to just call him the Donald still, who
Yeah.
does the Donald think, what jobs does he think he's saving? Like, what
Mhm.
jobs there's the Elon's building robots like hand over fist to replace people in his factories,
Yeah.
and every OEM is going to be doing that too. Some are further down the path than others,
Oh,
but
yeah.
everyone's got a robot that's coming to replace their workers.
Yeah.
Sorry, UAW and, Unifor, but, can robots get unionized, Lorraine? Can that happen? Can
Well, they're gonna be sentient soon from what I've heard, so I'm sure. Tell me why the auto workers in the US voted for this and are still standing behind this. This is insane. I've never seen anyone pee in their own pool quite so frequently. I just don't get that. Anyway, another question I don't have an answer to, but
I that's a weird one, and it's also but there was also a real quick reversal, right? Because, was it Friday Donald Trump signed um, that, federal workers
can't
um,
union yeah,
can't
can't
strike,
yeah, they can't strike.
no collective action. So, like, Sean Fain, zit his tongue pretty quick there and was like, "Oh, maybe we're not friendly with the Trump administration, maybe."
So many faces and so many leopards, and I'm just I swear the collective conscience has gone from reading a long form article once in a while to reading a headline, and that's it, and I know that's the goal, I know that's what they want. They want, uneducated and uninformed, but I as the head of a union, you're supposed to be doing that reading on behalf of the people that maybe don't have the time or the education to do it, so big fail there, Sean. Thanks for nothing, and I don't know, this is right up there with remember when he was running against Hillary and he said he was this is the Donald again, promising to reopen coal mines. Let's get this coal industry going again. And I'm flabbergasted because I understand people in these areas, they lost that in their community, and the communities just go down the toilet when that happens. They're willing to feed their people into the mines to die at 45, and they're voting for that. My father died with his lungs full of asbestos. He was a steel worker. It was horrendous. He did it so his kids wouldn't have to. So to watch people voluntarily feeding people into bad industries that destroy your body and wreck you is one thing, but to know that you're feeding your industry that it's going to be replaced by robots because it already is, and you're lying to your people that that's not the case. How do we get away I wanna be a politician. I can lie all day long.
I
They
don't think you wanna be a politician.
I know I don't. I
Yeah.
know. They've asked. I just go, "No, no, I tell the truth." That would be a big problem. But, no, I and again, it comes back to what you said before, and I think this is the one thing you and I agree on. People. Where do the people end up in all this? They're not just numbers on a piece of paper. They're not just part of a headline. It's not just one sob story. This is people who are deeply, deeply impacted by this. And everyone believes they're part of the 1% or they're going to be. So they vote because 'cause they're protecting their future lottery winnings. Man, people are gonna get just crushed. And, uh, we've got generations now looking ahead going, "Why bother?" And I look at my kids and go, I got nothing. I can't fight that because at your age, we I came out of school, everyone could get a job for 50K if you could get your degree. No one knew what they were doing. They had empty briefcases. They're hopping on the GO train like a bunch of little idiots, but, we could all do that. Uh, Now, hey, that was in 1984. We're still looking at the same 50K as being a really great starting salary. What? What happened there? I feel so bad for kids, and I say to them all the time, "I'm so sorry. We have fucked this up so bad for you, and I don't know how, and I'm so sorry. And do not let any of your grandparents poke their finger at you and tell you you're lazy. Like, just no, it's not fair." You know? Yeah,
Bleh, bleh.
yeah.
Okay, changing gears. We're gonna change gears. Enough tariffs, enough Trump. Your articles, the, what I wanna ask is what's the craziest thing you've seen? I was reading the mouse article from a few weeks ago about the person who bought the used car that was rat
Oh,
infested.
oh, gross.
That's crazy. That's
But the tribunal found against the dealer who's a dealer sold this woman a mouse-infested $5,000 vehicle, and the cleaning bill was almost $3,000 because she got in and goes, "Oh, it's kind of funky." They found in the glove box mice nests and poop and in the, under your arm, that thing. Yeah, I'm moving my right hand up and down. And they found on her behalf and said, "Yeah, this was not, safe to drive." I'm like, "You just got in a poo-mobile." Like, you got in it and went, "Whoa!" And I'm sorry, you tell me what woman does not open that glove box. Are you out of your mind? I wanna see if anyone left their earrings in there from someone before. You always open the glove box. How do you miss that? So I was kinda split. I know they went to her. The dealer was, shaky as hell. That's bad. Except, come on, people, you gotta do your due diligence. You gotta open the glove box. That's not asking too much.
right? Especially I don't think if I got into a used car and it smelled weird, I would be like, "No, thank you."
No.
Like, I would that would be the first sign
Yeah.
for me, and I think if if because they found dead mice, they found feces, there was dead rats in that car.
Skeletons, all kinds of stuff. Under the spare tire,
That's crazy.
it's
Like, that's
infested. So, yeah, when we say dealers have bad names, yeah, that's bad. But again, uninformed consumers that, I'm like, "No, open, look at everything." I tell people, "Put on the air conditioning even if it's January." Lift up the mats, feel if it's wet. Like, I give people just normal tips for, and if you say, "Can my tech look at it?" and they go, "Well, no," say, "Bye."
you need to write a book on how to buy a car. Why haven't you written that book yet?
Because I feel like I've written a weekly column for 20 years, and remember, I told them I had 6 ideas.
6 weeks. It's been
Yeah,
going on
yeah,
a lot longer. It's funny when you say it like that, that I had a job for 6 weeks and I've been doing it for 20 years.
yeah.
What they need to do now is just make the Lorraine AI so that people can ask the AI and it can automatically churn out, like, snarky responses to
"Okay,
people about
excuse me, no? Do you want me out of a job?" No. I dropped my kids are telling me about my kid's a head stack engineer or something, I don't know what it's called. He's some hoity-toity thing that I don't understand. I thank God he makes more than his mother. But we're talking about that Chat GP. I go, "Yeah, I haven't even tried that." Like, "I don't know about that." This is a few months ago. Yeah, months. Anyway, opened it up, it's like, "Oh." So I said, "Who is Lorraine Sommerfeld?" I asked Chat GP, and it came back mostly right, like a little bit right, and then it started giving me awards I've never won. Then it was giving me awards I'd never heard of, and I've won some awards, and I'm going, "What about those awards?" Now I'm arguing with Chat GP because I'm the official Lorraine Sommerfeld person. I know everything about her. And so I'm arguing with this stupid thing that's getting it wrong, and then a friend of mine says he was using it to do his taxes. I started crying. I go, "Oh, please no, please no, please no. This thing is wrong. It's wrong." And I just test it once in a while with my own name. What has it awarded me this week? So,
I
anyone that
mean,
uses that, no.
maybe you'll get a Grammy or an Academy Award, like, maybe then you can just add that to your byline.
I can
It
put anything in there.
Right. It says I mean, I've done a few presentations for OEMs and for some dealer folk, couple of auto groups on AI at dealership. And one of the things I point out is right there on the screen on ChatGPT at the bottom in small, it's not quite mice type, but it's small. It's like ChatGPT can make mistakes check important information.
Yeah.
Like, it says it on the screen to try and warn people to not take it that seriously,
Yeah,
but
to me, it's still a party game, which is fun. Party games are fun. That's cool. And the fact it's refining itself, that's all good. And I know the upside of AI. I talk to enough people in our industry that, they go, "Oh, it can make it more efficient," and, it's like, "Okay, that's all great." Old school Lorraine does not trust this, and part of me goes, "Wait, now it's gonna write books. It'll write a book better than mine. Go to hell. Go away. No." So and I think musicians feel the same way. Like, can you get people I don't know if you've ever seen on Facebook, oh my god, these AI generated stupid, like, little cottages in the forest with the it's just insane, a full moon and all these people, and I don't wanna say they're a bunch of bored women, but these are my peers, so I feel I can say it. They're all go, "Oh, this looks amazing." I'm like, "Oh, this is fake and crap," and I think of the artists I know and the graphic designers and the musicians and the writers and the novelists, and we're all just going, "You can't tell the difference." There's probably no bigger kick in the head than someone going, "Good enough." It's like, "Okay then."
I I I spoke with last year, in one of these podcast recordings, an old friend of mine who's still she's a university professor, and, she as you might expect, she is also a writer of a different sort. She is livid. Like, she is just livid with, the big tech companies and the fact that they're devoting billions, tens of billions of dollars every year to try and make it better. Like, to take what she does or what you do or what I do and make it better, and her argument was basically like, "Just take those billions of dollars and give it to people." Like, just
Yeah.
give it to people, you'll get a better output,
Well,
right?
I've had it now I've got it flipped where I'm just begging people who are consumers of art in whatever format, please keep insisting on real art. Please stop liking and sharing AI generated stupid little mini houses that you actually think you could live in. My cat couldn't live in that. Don't be so stupid. I mean, if you throw your clothes everywhere like I do, it's even worse. But please stop giving air to things that you know is not from a creative mind. And I can't change everybody, but I came at my career trying to convince one person at a time to read me, and now 20 years later, I'm still doing the same thing. So, I mean, I guess it's kinda like I'm sitting on a stationary bike. But but consumers, they have a role here too. Like,
They
they
do. And I'm torn on this as well, and it isn't good. Like, the outputs, like, even the music, the things that it can create, that different tools can create, not great. However, there was one moment where I was like, "Huh." My it was just last Halloween. My neighbor, who's in her late 50s, her sister a few years older, early 60s, she was very excited. She was very excited, and she came over to talk to me and Mary Lynn, and she's like, "You've gotta listen to this." She wrote, air quotes, she wrote a song. So she wrote the lyrics to a song, and um she wanted it to be available on Spotify. So she found some guy, maybe on Fiverr, I don't know, who then basically created in in an AI tool, a took her lyrics, created a pop song that sounded reminiscent, wasn't exactly, like, it wasn't so much that she was gonna get sued for it, but sounded like maybe somewhere between, like, a Miley Cyrus and a Taylor Swift, like,
Yeah,
somehow sounded like a real pop song.
yeah,
I don't even Gladys, classic, this is not insulting, but classic old person name, like, Gladys was like, "Listen to the song I wrote,"
yeah,
and I'm like, "What? How did you do that?" She goes, "Blah, blah, 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 blah. I found this guy. I wrote the song. He produced the music. We're distributing it through this distributor." And I'm like, "Have you made any money yet, Gladys?" And she's like, "Not at all." She goes, "But I get to tell everyone I have a song on Spotify." And that's all she wanted. That was
yeah.
what she wanted out of it. So,
I think Gladys follows me on Facebook. Yeah,
I'm sure she does. I'm sure she does.
I that's what uh, I can't break through and you know what, here's the difference, and it sounds really, really snobby. Is Gladys an artist?
That's tricky, complicated.
She
Yeah.
made a song. So, yeah, it's like if someone publishes their own book that's their war memories and they've been boring the family with it, and now they want to bore wider circle, so they do it. Are they a writer? Well, yeah. So do I be the snobby bitch who says, "Oh, no, that's not real"? No. I mean, I have a rule for myself. If I write something, I call it writing if it can be killed by an editor and if I get paid for it. And I can say that coming into it when I did at 40, I had none of those things. I did not know what I was doing, and that was the indicator for me. It's like an editor that can say, "You're not running that," or, "Yes, and we'll do this, and here's your paycheck." It's like, okay, so that was the only time I felt safe saying, "Okay, I'm a writer now." We've removed all those barriers. Is that a good thing? Sure it is. If I wanna play piano and sing, no matter how horrific it is, I should have that right to be able to do it. And no, no, I shouldn't. I shouldn't have that right at all. It's terrible.
No, I shouldn't.
But
No, no one should be subjected to that.
but I think anyone can do what they want. It's when it's packaged as something other than what it actually is.
Yeah.
That to
Yeah.
me is a problem because that's a fraud. Like, I think that's a fraud when it sounds sorta like Taylor Swift. And who was it? One of the places stole one of the actors' voice, and she said she turned them down to be the voice of
Yeah.
whatever, and they used
Scarlett Johansson.
yeah,
Scarlett
and
Johansson.
so they
Yeah.
used her voice anyway. That's a fraud. That to me is now we're into the land of, yeah, it's really cool until it happens to you and they steal your voice, and I've had these talks with my kids. Okay, they my voice is all over the place, like, I've had TV shows and radio shows and stuff, so I said to the kids, "Okay, if they call you, we need a word." It's like when they were little and gonna get kidnapped at school. Like, "We need a safe word," and my sons, again, they're adults. They're rolling their eyes, go, "Mom." I go, "No, if they call and say, 'Look, if it sounds like me saying I'm in trouble, you have to come here.'" They go, "Well, we wouldn't send money because 'cause you're the one who gives us the money anyway, so, that wouldn't happen," which I understand. But they're more savvy than I am. But I'm like, "No, we need a safe word." Well, this is crazy. This is anyone can be deep faked, eh, voices, and they're scamming old people. Grandma, come and help." That breaks my heart, and I can only say so often, "Well, you should be a little more careful. That would never happen to me." You know what? It's happening to smart people. It's happening to kind people, and no one deserves this level of crap. Like, it's just I hate it, and it's so easy to say it would never happen to me because, well, dudes and dudettes, I got news for you. It's coming for everybody, and none of us are totally that smart.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it's too easy. Like,
Yeah.
it's too easy to and there are tools that I think it was Meta. Meta made a tool that could take a very small amount of audio, like a very small amount of
Yeah.
audio, and replicate it and allow you to basically just use to create something that that voice or that person said, in a document, in a Word document, and they were like, "Whoa." Even
Scary.
you have to know it's extreme if Meta is like, "This is too far. We
Yeah, this is
should
creepy
pull
for us.
back and not release this into the wild." Um, no offense to my friends at Meta, but, uh,
No,
the
no, it's
okay, a small amount of offense, but, yeah, it was they were like, "Whoa, this is people shouldn't have access to this. This is too far afield."
and I think one thing that's been unleashed to the south of us, has proven that there's far more bad actors than any of us wanted to admit or understand, and once you start separating people from have and have not, they'll do anything to have, anything, and that to me is scary as someone who has a real sense of community, and I care about my neighbors, and we give each other lasagnas and wine, I mean, like, so losing that, I don't think we have to go back to I don't know what we've lost, but we've lost everything, and there's people that are more than happy with that, and as soon as you threaten them, they'll circle the wagons around their own little court, and now to have these fraudulent means to scam people, if they can think they're doing it in defense of their family, I think we're gonna see people increasingly doing worse things for bad reasons, and that troubles me.
Okay, so we're getting dark again now.
Sorry.
Things are getting dark. Let's talk about the novel. So, talk about the novel. What inspired the novel? is there gonna be another one? Are we beginning a series? Is this happening?
It's not a series. I would like to just write books until I die. That's the goal. Um, this book started 35 years no, 33 years ago. It's up at our cottage, and the book takes place at our cottage. I had to apologize to my sisters. I was up there with my 8-month-old, my firstborn, and it was a Friday night, and I used to go on my own all the time. Remember I said I have an ex-husband? Yeah, that's why. Anyway, I'm at the cottage on my own. It's in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by forest. There's no phone, there's nothing up there. It's very basic. So I put the kid to bed, and I'm watching The X-Files on a Friday night. X-Files used to be very scary. So this is 1992 or something. Anyway, watching The X-Files scare the crap out of myself. Great. Then the news comes on. 2 guys, murderers, have escaped from a prison. To this day, we're not far from Penetanguishene. It's probably 40 miles, 40K. It wasn't Penetang because 'cause I've tried to find it. It could have been a US station. I have no idea. Anyway, I'm sitting there in this cottage on my own with an 8-month-old sleeping in the room, convinced that these 2 murderers are coming to my cottage. I did not sleep that night. I was petrified. This is Canada. The only weapon I have is the hockey stick that we empty the eaves out with. Um, so nothing. And I'm this 30-odd-year-old woman sitting there going, "Oh my god, we're all gonna die. Who do I save? How do I save the kid? What do I do?" This book came from that night because that's basically the premise of the book. It's like a single mom with her 6-year-old, and they're coming for her, and she's in the middle of nowhere. What do you do? So it's how do you react? And so it was very real, and I do not recommend watching The X-Files if you're a single parent and have no way to protect your kid.
I remember, well, the story is fantastic, that's fantastic, and, so I hope you write until you're dead. I mean, I'm not
Thank
wishing you dead, I just hope you continue writing. Um, I remember Friday nights, like, it's funny that year, like, 92, 93, the I'd not pub night I was in university, but, like, pub night was always Thursday, and I didn't go out Fridays because I wanted to stay home and watch X-Files.
It was a
Like,
great
that
show.
yeah, it was such a and then there was weird things on afterwards, like, um and I don't even know if it was the same channel, but I would always end up watching for a while, it was like, X-Files and then, like, Hercules and Xena or something, like, I was always watching
Xena was cool.
I was a big Xena fan, big Xena fan. Lucy Lawless,
Yeah.
but there's a whole other I'm obsessed with the cult of Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi, and Rob Tapert, who were the,
Okay.
like, 3 teenagers who made the movie Evil Dead and then went on to create more movies, and so Sam Raimi has directed everything under the
Yeah.
sun, and Rob Tapert was their friend who brought the money, so he was the
Yeah.
producer.
Yeah.
He ended up marrying Lucy Lawless, like, it's a anyway,
Go
that's
team.
my yeah, that's how big a nerd I am. But yeah, and it all kinda stemmed from me wanting to stay back at, the dorm on Friday nights to
On
watch
Friday night.
X-Files. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, I just scared the crap out of myself, so, but
And, but a hockey stick is a pretty effective weapon. I've watched enough hockey to know that. The
well, it's funny 'cause, I use this in the book too. My dad, he was a Saskatchewan farm boy, and you can take the boy out of Saskatchewan, but you cannot take Saskatchewan out of the boy. And so underneath the trestle of the dining room table was one of his rifles, and he taught me how to shoot. He had a little 22. It's like pick off cans or whatever. My sister goes, "How come he taught you how to shoot?" I thought I was the boy he didn't have, that's why. But there was a rifle underneath the trestle of the table. Do I know where the cartridges were or the bullets or whatever? Like, I have no idea, but I set the book in New York because I needed her to have a handgun. And then I had 2 local guys that took me to a shooting range here in Hamilton, these 2 old guys. I was complaining that I didn't know how to do it. You can't write if you don't write about it unless you've done it, because otherwise anyone who has will call you out and you've lost your reader. So I went down to the gun range, and I'm scared of guns. I went down there and they let me shoot a handgun and showed me how to do it and how to put everything in there. It's like, "Okay." So I made sure I knew because I didn't wanna lose the reader, but it terrified me. I found it just terrifying, but I had to put it in the States so that there was guns in it. And later on, it's like, I wanna come back to Canada with my next book because I scared myself. But a hockey stick, yeah, but a woman protecting a baby, any anything you have will be used on you. Like, you're gonna be overpowered. It was scary. That's why we're so smart because we have to outthink the bad guys, and then they just baff you and you're dead, but, it was a thought.
My dad used to say, "Locks are for honest people." Right?
Yeah,
Locks,
yeah.
right? And that's, and that's a lot of that's how crime happens. Yeah, I am also pretty good with a rifle. We should go shooting. Do you wanna go shooting? We should
I
go
don't know.
shooting. Rifles, we just
I
break
know.
out the 22. We don't have to do
It's
any.
been a while, but yeah, no, I find it, I mean, I'm glad he showed me how to do that. It was good, but we also used chainfalls and pulled rocks out of the ground. We did weird stuff when I was a kid. We it was very much make your own fun.
I mean, I used to use the, descriptor that I was a lot like, Christopher Robin in Winnie the Pooh,
Yes.
that I had I grew up in the country. We didn't have a farm, but we our lot was 25 acres, and beside that was 3 more lots that were owned by my grandparents and my uncles. So
That's awesome.
I had a 100-acre wood,
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
and I would, come home from school and jump in the canoe
Yeah.
because we had a pond, or, things that make very little sense to my son who's grown up in the city. He doesn't understand any of that, right? And teaching myself to shoot or practicing with the pellet gun was also, and the bow and arrow and the slingshot, that was all part of the experience for sure. So
I I like that stuff. I don't know. We bought the cottage. I was 8 when my dad got the cottage. My mom did not want a cottage, so we got a cottage, and it was splinters and mouse shit. That thing, it's so and we still have it. We kept it in the family, and it's pretty basic. It's really basic, but my kids have grown up there. They love that stuff, and they get up there, they turn into different kids when they're at the cottage, and so do their friends. So to me, to be able to capture that has been like, "Thank you, dad. Thank you, mom." They've been gone way too long. But yeah, no, the kids throw them outside and just, "Here, go get lost." Go the stuff we used to do up there that my parents didn't know, we used to steal beer out of my dad's fridge and tie it to the chain of the anchor on the boat around the cove where he couldn't see us. We're like 14. We're like, "Okay, this seems normal, great." It's like, my dad's gonna notice at some point. It's like, "Guys, you have to steal your dad's beer tomorrow." So
I don't know how much they notice. I don't think my dad would have noticed if I'd stolen a beer. He wasn't keeping count that closely, I don't think, until the case was empty. That
yeah,
was shouldn't take the last one. That would be a
that's it,
problem.
yeah.
Yeah, that would be a
There
problem.
there's your top tip from Matthew Groden, kids. Don't take dad's last beer.
Don't take yeah, that's true now, for the love of God. Don't take my last beer, because that's the apple does not fall far. Um, okay, well, maybe it fell pretty far, but, that's a different story. That's the book I'm gonna write. I've been talking about my parents' names were, Mary and Joseph, and so I wanna write a book about them called The Gospel According to Matthew.
Yeah,
That's the
that's funny,
story of
actually.
yeah, that's the story of Mary and Joseph.
Yeah,
So,
do that.
it might happen. It'll happen. I've got some
James Spader can do the audiobook.
James Spader can do the audiobook. Yes. I don't know if that got recorded. Yes. So you think I sound like James Spader.
You sound exactly like James Spader.
I know that's a wonderful compliment, I think. He was such a strong actor, such an interesting dude.
He's a freak.
He is a freak. I mean,
So I see that out loud. Okay.
I would like to bump into him. There are a few people that I would like to randomly encounter in New York, and James Spader is probably number 2 on that list. Like, a number 1 being Bill Murray. I wanna randomly bump into Bill Murray playing, like, pickup soccer at a park somewhere. That's what I wanna do.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Well, apparently that's a thing he does. Like, he's, like, he's still living like Hunter S. Thompson. He's still living the gonzo life, and so he randomly introduces himself to people and eats their french fries and,
so you're
like,
just gonna pop in front of these people until they notice you and don't think you're a serial killer. That's perfect.
yeah, because 'cause I'm not hitchhiking. That's
Yeah.
how they know I'm not a serial killer. And what is next for you? So you're gonna continue to write, the mother lode, you're gonna continue to write the car column, but no reviews, no
No,
reviews.
I don't
Reviews are right out.
I
Um,
don't
what's
want
next
reviews.
next? What do you
Um, I figure I'm in the twilight of both of those careers, so I'll ride them till you know, the pony breaks down under me like in True Grit. Mother load, I tried to quit when my last kid moved out. They go, "No." I said, "I'm not writing grandmother load." But my son just got engaged actually, so he might be but it's so funny. You start something and you have no idea where it's gonna go, like none. And I'm kinda happy reinventing myself every 5 years and trying things, and I've stopped traveling for work. I got lost in the Sahara for 10 days doing a rally, a gazelle rally with women, my sister and I. Absolutely lost in the middle of the Sahara. Scariest thing in the world, just crazy. But I like testing myself like that. I don't do it in cars on the other side of the world anymore. So I need to do it up in my head, which is there's books I wanna write, there's things I wanna do. It's, both gigs are still good for now, and as long as people are reading, awesome, I'll take it. But yeah, 20 years is a long time. As my kids have said, "Would you shut up now?" It's like, "Okay."
I mean, that's a general response that children
Right.
have to their parents. Like, that's just I wouldn't take that one so much personal
No.
or as a reflection of your writing. I think that's just par for the course. That's just the way kids,
Kids today,
kids.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I love my kids. We're tight. It's kinda cool.
See, I think that we also bought a cottage, and I wanted my son to have the experience similar to what you described, but we did 2 things wrong. A, we renovated. We maybe
Oh,
should have just left it a shithole, and then
yeah,
that would have forced some amount of outdoorsiness.
yeah,
And then we also got Wi-Fi, and that just ruined everything. That was I mean, I needed the Wi-Fi. I
yeah.
was like, selfishly, I needed access to the internet, but, that just left him doom scrolling on his phone for the last 5 years, so
Now I have a cottage rule. If you sit on the couch in a wet bathing suit, do you get in trouble or not? 'Cause at a cottage, shouldn't really matter, right? Throw a towel down. But I know someone that had on a red bathing suit, they were a kid at the time, and sat on someone's white couch in a Muskoka palace. I'm like "Mm," and they were telling me that they got in trouble. I go, "Who's got a white couch in their cottage?" Like, people people that's like a white upholstery in a bus. Like, why would you do that? It's like, "No." So, yeah, I like the splinter mouse poop idea for cottages. It's, yeah, we watch mice run around the floor. It's great.
we try and keep the rodents outside. Like, I'm a lot of affection for the squirrels and the chipmunks, but we try to keep the rodents outside.
We're a family of cats, so the cats go and clear out.
Nice.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and what Nathan did do though, and what's, where we didn't completely fail on the cottage experience is that down the highway there is a summer camp, and he's basically gone there every year
Oh,
since he
that's
was 8.
awesome.
Every yeah. And now hopefully this summer he's gonna go and do the leadership program
Yeah,
there,
I
and
like you. Yeah.
yeah, so he's gonna LIT it, and maybe that turns into a job, but he has he it's I think he's downstairs, he's not listening right now, and he's never gonna listen to this podcast, but um, he, I think there's some ego there where he doesn't wanna say to, like, his parents that he enjoys the cottage, but he loves camp, like, he
Yeah.
loves camp, so we try and encourage that as much as possible.
No, that's cool. My kids go on their own now. It's so great. I don't have to cook. I used to take 7 or 8 14-year-old boys up there. It's as awful as you imagine, and I had to stay sober to take them into the ER. One choked on a baby carrot. We're in the ER with all of them. I mean, every summer, I got so many motherlode columns out of that cottage. But 7 or 8 stinky boys all doing their boy thing. It's like, "Oh," and now they go on their own, it's awesome, and the first year they all went, they go, "We kinda miss you." I go, "Oh, no, you don't." No, because I just fed them.
Choked on a baby carrot.
We
Well,
did.
maybe
He's a
yes.
firefighter now. I know. It's the craziest thing. Yeah,
Well, thank God the carrot didn't take him out. That's,
no,
yeah,
yeah.
that's good.
He inhaled funny. He's
Oh my god. Lorraine, this has been fantastic. Thank you for the time. Do you have any Jerry Springer final thoughts? Do you have any
No, I kinda babble the whole time, so
That's what I was aiming for. That's what I just wanted to cue you up enough to let you babble freely.
yeah,
So,
it's been fun. It was fun meeting you last week, and this has been a blast, so
good. I mean, you also liked my Nine Inch Nails hat, so that lets you
that was
win.
great. Yeah, and
Yes.
telling everyone to suck less. that audience, that was good for that audience. I like that idea.
Good.
So
I mean, I knew it was funny because the last time when I was previously at that event, and because part of my shtick when I'm usually talking to dealers is like, "What the fuck is this?" and "Fuck that," and "What
yeah,
the fuck are you doing?" And there's usually the people start to count. There's like, how many F-bombs happen in a single, like, 35 or 40-minute presentation, and my personal best is 27. Like, my personal best is 27, which is a lot. Like, you're almost doing one every 90 seconds.
it's a very
Um,
good word.
yeah, it's a very useful word. Um, and, uh and no, so I was, like, fully prepared to show up and be like, "Yeah, what the fuck and blah, blah, blah," and before I did, I asked someone, I'm like, "Is this kind of an F-bomb crowd or is this not?" And they're like, "No, this is not an F-bomb crowd." I was like, "Okay." Adjusting mental gearing, like, adjusting
I
retuning brain.
I do
Yeah,
their podcast, and I swear all the time, not in print, but when I talk, so I have to clean it up, which is fine, but I love the word.
right? Yeah, well, so in the f blah, blah, the personal best was a Halifax presentation, and as, the story is told, I was I've been using this presentation, and we'd been on kind of effectively tour. We did 5 cities, and at one point, a dealer in the front row just yelled out the number, like, 17, and I was like and I was not I wasn't sure what he was talking about, and I'm like, "17?" He's like, "17." I'm like, "17 fucks?" He went, "Yeah." I'm like, 18.
18.
I just
I have
18.
one more to give.
That's right. And well, and no, and then I had like 9 more to give, but I say it was like 27 fucks, 5 shits, and a dick joke.
Yeah.
That's what I managed to get into that, and that's my personal best, and I'm likely never gonna beat it. Like, I don't think
Oh,
it
never say
happened
never.
it happened very naturally. It was really we were tired and angry, a little bit angry, having been traveling so much, and, I don't think the circumstance will happen again. I don't think it will. So, uh, thank you. This has been fabulous. Thanks for coming and doing this.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And there you have it. That was my conversation with Lorraine. Man, read her stuff. Read her book. She's so good, so great. As always, thank you for listening, and special thanks to Dark Tapes for providing the music for this podcast. Go out and search, check out Dark Tapes on YouTube and elsewhere. Instagram, yeah, he's around. He's around. You can find him. And thank you to Autograph Analytics for sponsoring my newsletter and my podcast. Have a spectacular weekend, everyone.